Welcome everyone to Kommunity Kerbals Episode 12. See, I'm a little rusty. It's been quite some time. But the environment is quite cold right now. It's snowing outside, very, very cold. And you can't really do much. So as such, here we are to have a little fun. Playing a little Kommunity Kerbals. And, yeah, it's been quite some time, but, I've got about 2 hours or so before, YR and myself actually discuss Tiger King Season 2, and that should be an interesting one. So you can see that in about 2 hours time or so on the YR program channel. But for the moment being, we're going to play a little Kerbal Space program. And, there was no plan. I wanted to get back into this. This is my passion. But, sometimes there's other things that need to be taken care of. But I'm open to suggestions about what kind of ships you might want to see me make. I still have to... And yeah, I'm a procrastinating piece of shit, but I still have to attach my second screen to my computer so that I can monitor the chat while I play, as opposed to using my phone and draining the power that way. But yeah, I want to see what we can do here. Casey's Ross says, Dave, can I be added for the Tiger King 2 call? No, because it's not my that's not my authority. You want to talk about that? You can talk to YR, but YR seems to especially want me to discuss it with him. So it might be a duo show and not much more. Maybe he'll take calls. I don't know. His whole idea is that he'd been wanting me to see the series and to discuss it with him one-on-one. So you're gonna have to speak to him. Z the Reaper says, Dave, did you see the new Ghostbusters movie yet? No, I have not. I'm really caught up with a lot of stuff that isn't mainstream, so I believe the movie was in theaters. I don't know whether or not it's still available, like if it's available digitally that you could just watch from home. But no, I have not watched it. I've heard both praise and scorn for it, but I definitely don't listen to or read Rotten Tomatoes or any of those fucking shit sites, so I'm more than likely to believe somebody who's actually seen it as opposed to what the media conglomerates would like us to believe. So yeah, let's see here. I got the chat going on my phone. Any suggestions, people? Do you guys want to see anything particular when it comes to the Kerbals? Or should we just go on the fly and just fuck around? Still have a save game going, but I was thinking of starting something new because the save game's kind of old. But yeah, just to see what kind of crazy contraptions we can make and, maybe how far we can push it and so forth. So, yeah, let's start up the game. Oh, hold on. I got a message from somebody. Hold on, let me just tell them. Streaming won't be able to answer for a while. There we go. Skype lines remain open if you want to join me on this adventure. Your views would obviously be somewhat delayed because, well, I get 3 to 5 minutes basically, I guess. It's weird. Nikki Nines actually has an amazing connection in Alberta because it's like 3 seconds behind. That's it. But, well, I guess it could relate to where I am, but it's not that bad of a connection. Regardless, it's not gigabit and all that. So let's do this. Let's fucking play. So We'll do a little transition here to the game. And I'm now going to play the game. And now I'm monitoring my phone so as to not miss your comments here. Casey's Russ said, is it going to be the same flight crew? Well, I could do anything, really. I mean, I was thinking because, YR and Keith and Bullfrog all hang together, we could put them all on a flight. There's all sorts of people. I mean, hey, if somebody wants to volunteer themselves to be, a guinea pig and then suggest the type of craft they want to go up in, well, then do so. So I have two saved, the testing range and then the Kommunity Kerbals, which I had a lot. But I don't know. I'm thinking of starting something new, because we can always go back to the other ones. But we start something new. We could call this, I don't know, New Frontier. There we go. Not very original, but I'm not getting any suggestions from anybody. So we're going to call it New Frontier. We're going to give it some sort of flag. Let's give it something nice. You could always add add your own flags in here if you want. Black and yellow, black and yellow. There we go. So New Frontier, we want to choose Sandbox, because that's where we can do anything we want. Difficulty normal, and start. Shout out to Festlove in the chat. Anyone else I missed? I see you there, Inspector Todd. We got Gene Kerman welcoming us here to the Space Center. So come on, people, suggestions. Now I can't be switching between screens because I don't have the second monitor set up to be able to poll the audience. So give me some suggestions as to what do you want to see? A plane fly? Do you want to see a rocket fly? Who do you want on the flight? Come on, people. So you guys have to help me out here with that. And I'm going to have to... Actually, what was it? Alt 12? F11? Oh, okay. So cheat codes are Alt F12. So we're going to take out Jebediah Kerman, Bill Kerman, Bob Kerman, and Valentina Kerman because they are the symbols of Kerbal Space Program. And it's just like Neil Armstrong. You don't want to set him on a mission and risk having him killed. Just get a red shirt like in Star Trek. Get somebody that can be utilized as an expenditure. Inspector or Inspecta. See, I don't like this fucking jive talk. Okay. But Inspecta Todd says put him and Tony in a rocket. Then we got Festlove says, can we take 10 ECT to the House of the Rising Sun? I might have to make a rocket that just houses a lot of people that will just send them all into the sun or something. All right, so... I don't know. You know what? I want to have some fun. I don't want to necessarily kill anybody right now. I'll let you guys stew on that. But, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to create... Can I kill these people? Well, I could, but it takes too long. So let's just fucking do our thing. So, Kerbals. There we go. Create. Oh, hold on. Can we delete them from here? No. Create. So... We're going to make a male Kerbin. or Kerbal. And come on, guys, give me some suggestions here. Other than obviously the those that you want to see burn up. Actually, why not? I mean, well, see, here's the thing, though. Inspector Todd, there's people that, want to see Tony burn up in the atmosphere or something. And you would be on the same flight. So do you really want to see that? And then there's Danny MT, who could, substitute as a, crash test dummy. And we can do just about anything there, so... I would like some honest suggestions, actually. Especially for those that want to see themselves as a character put up. That's why it's Kommunity Kerbals. So, I'd like some honest suggestions, as well as what you'd like to see. So, okay, Inspector Todd, and, Inspector Todd says he's willing to sacrifice himself. Okay, so there we go. So... Todd, because we can't put too many characters in this name. Todd will be the pilot, because we know that definitely Tony can't fucking pilot a show. And we will, I guess we'll give him experience 5. We'll lower the stupidity to about 1/4. And because he is willing to sacrifice himself, we'll give him full courage. He's neither a veteran or badass. Sorry, bud. So then we're going to create him. And then we're going to go back. And we're going to make a new one. And this will be Tony. And Tony... Okay, people, you're going to have to tell me about this. Is Tony a scientist because of his knowledge in the cannabis? Or is he more of a tourist who's just fucking so brain blown from all the weed consumption that all he can do is just look out the window like, whoa, dude, look at the stars. Like, whoa, dude, wild stallions, whoa. So you're going to have to tell me about that. I'm going to have to raise his stupidity level to about 75% or 80, close to 80. But I'll raise his courage to about 60 because, I mean, shit, the guy's got the guts to go against people he knows he's going to lose against. But, he's got the courage enough to do that. He's certainly no badass. No badass. And he's not a veteran either. There should be an attribute for rookie. It's like, yeah, dude, I've been around for a long time, like close to a year. All right, well, tourist it is. All right, so he's just going to be looking at the stars tripping out. It's like, dude, did you release the solid rocket booster? It's like, no, dude, I was like really tripping at the stars, man. It's like, but we're going to crash the Kerbal now. Oh, but like at least we'll see some pretty colors. All right, so we got the 2 created. Let's just find them. Where are they? Skibbity bop, bibbity boo. Oh, that's right. This requires a little bit of, there we go. So Todd and Tony. TNT. And I don't know if you ever watched that series back in the day. Had Mr. T in there. And yet again, just like A-Team, he was accused of crime he didn't commit, and he went to jail for it. But then he got out and became an enforcer for a legal agency, and it was filmed in Toronto, which is awesome. So now we need a craft. I don't know who Danny 310 is. What this about? What this about? Grug want to know what this about. Shout out to Bam in the chat. All right, so. Fly me to the moon. Let me play amongst the stars. Oh, a fellow German. Werner von Karman is here to greet us. to tell us very more about the vehicle assembly building, but it's okay. I am part of a special elite SS unit, and I know much more than you, Werner. So please move along, because we shall be creating a great craft right now to bring in both Todd and Tony to the edge of space. Alrighty. Not too sure what this guy's talking about there in the chat, but whatever. Behave yourself and everything's good. So we're going to go with a... I guess we're going to go with just a typical Mark 1 3 command pod, which allows for 3 people in there, but we'll just have it to 2. We'll call this TNT 01. And what kind of description we'll give it? Todd wants to be a martyr, I guess. Because, you know, it's bad luck with Tony. But there we go. So, now, we've got this craft. We're going to have to populate it with these 2 individuals. Oh, yep, there we go. Hold on. There we go. Now they're available. Perfect. So, let's see. What do you guys say? You just want to get to orbit, or you want to see if these guys can land on the moon or something? I think orbit and return would probably be the safest thing, because, you know, to get to the moon and such would require a substantially larger rocket, and there's a lot more things that can go wrong. And I don't know if you want to see your demise on video there, Todd. Any chance of a return, Dave? Slim? What are you talking about, Inspector Todd? Casey says, I remember when Bullfrog says your German accent was a horrible English accent. Fucking idiot. He is. He's confused, and I still don't even know whether his stepfather's from Austria or Australia. He doesn't even know. The moon. Okay, so... Inspector Todd wants to go balls out. Okay, well, let's see what we can pull off. We're going to try to get to the moon with these fuckers. I guess you want us to land? Because we can send you... Okay, so Todd says, okay, if orbit has better chance of return, just do that. Okay, so yeah, we'll do an orbit. Okay, we'll do an orbit in space, a little activity in space. But yeah, creating a craft that goes to the moon will take time, and there is a lot more that can go wrong. So, alright, so here we got our capsule. What we got to do now is we got to add a heat shield. If it doesn't have one, obviously it will suffer damage attempting to re-enter the atmosphere, and as such is going to potentially blow up. Let's see here. Alright, so I believe this is... No. Alright, so there we go. Heat shield installed. Let's see. We're going to need batteries. We're going to need solar panels, parachutes, and I don't think we necessarily need a docking mechanism. We're not going to be docking with anything. Alright, so let's see here. We're going to... There is a... hold on. Okay, so we're going to need batteries. We may end up stringing that up on top here, because we're not going to need to dock with anything. Solar panels. We'll have to. What is this one? The 1x6 are easy to use because they're long and thin, as opposed to the thick ones that can cause problems. Parachutes. Where is that? Trying to keep on top of the chat as well. Festlove says, if Tony's on the ship, gotta try to make it look like a bong. Okay. That could be a possibility. We might be able to pull that off. Alright, so where the fuck are the fucking... There we go. Okay, so the drogue chute is what we're going to need for just diminishing our speed going into the atmosphere as we're like really building up a lot of speed. And then we're going to need these little ones here, or smaller ones, I should say, which are regular parachutes. So we're going to make 3 right there. That doesn't look that good, so we're going to try to move it. Yeah, it covers up the fucking flag. Who gives a flying fuck? Alright, so let's see. We're gonna... I want to check one thing here. So this has electric charge of 150 and monopropellant of 30. So it can move on its own if we add, you know, these are really just cosmetic. They don't actually do shit, unfortunately. So what I want to check here is, okay, so 150 charge. What does this one give us? Gives us 1,000 charge. So this will allow this one here will allow our craft to operate. We're going to need some fuel as well, specifically for monopropellant. It's too big, too small, and just like Goldilocks said, just the right size. So this is looking a little bit more like a bong for you there, but that'll go. See, my concern is the fact that this might be ripped off, and it can happen. Depends on your angle of attack, as they call it, when the craft comes into the atmosphere. That's the biggest problem, is because the most strain that happens, and we're not just talking about the game, I'm talking about real life now. The most strain that happens is when you hit that atmosphere, and if you're trying to use a drogue chute to slow yourself down, because that's the purpose. It's not actually the regular parachutes just to bring you down on a soft landing. These are the ones that are supposed to work in like even the most faint atmospheric levels. So they open up. They're not catching much atmosphere, but the way that they're designed is to try to slow down the craft, even with that limited atmosphere. But because of the strain that's going on, the speed that's happening, it could basically rip right off, or it could rip off the entire fucking assembly here. So that is a challenge, but we're going to risk it. Okay, so we've got 1,150 charge now on this capsule. So that should be sufficient. Now, it's never a bad idea to have solar panels on there, because, you know, for whatever reason, you know, you might need to, and the problem is, though, now we're thinking about, we're adding more weight to this. So the more weight that we're adding, that re-entry into the atmosphere is actually going to cause more strain. You're adding more weight, so the velocity is going to increase. So we have to decide, do we choose to add weight to this and add solar panels? So this would be what it looks like if, hold again, and again, can, and again. If this was, I mean, it's a nice sturdy little capsule. But the weight is the issue. Do we attach these solar panels to the main command module, which would, you know, go down here, and it's the, it's got the primary engines and so forth. Would we prefer to put them on there? This craft obviously is made, or we're trying to make it so that we can at least go into orbit and then decelerate and get back onto Kerbal. That is our Earth analog here, without dying. That is the whole intention of this mission. Hold on. Spectre Todd says, Dave, how did you learn about all the parts you need to make up this ship? First of all, I've always been enamored by space, but it doesn't take too long to start to learn about how this works. Plus, there's tutorials in the game, like later on. Like, I started playing this at version 3, I think, or version 0.3. It was still in the beta, but I continued to play it until it was released and so forth. So as they continued to build the game, there was times where they would make tutorials, but there's also websites that people would review the game and show their sort of versions of tutorials. But also it just becomes very easy to understand what components you need to operate, and what is what and what its purpose is and so forth. And as the game has progressed and evolved, it's become much more organized and much easier to understand what it is that you're doing. Like, for example, all these different topics here, divisions, subjects, whatever, items. It wasn't always that way. It wasn't always that organized. So it's definitely in a much more evolved state, and it becomes fairly easy to learn it if you just play around. If you follow the tutorial, it's very easy. If you look at YouTube videos, it's very easy. Todd says, okay, I was gonna ask if this game had a tutorial. Cool. I think I'll buy it today. It's on sale for $9.99 on Xbox. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know it's on Xbox. Obviously, it's not the same as on a computer, but it's fairly close. And apparently, a lot of people have a lot of fun playing that on the Xbox. So, here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go back to my video. I'm going to make a poll. Let's see here. Solar panels on capsule. Yes or no? Ask community. So, and shout out to all the 20 people that I've pulled out of this, because on my phone it's not telling me how many people. But back to the game here. So yeah, I'm gonna monitor this. Hopefully it shows up on my phone. I don't know. This is so stupid. I just gotta pull my... See, this is how stupid and lazy I am. And plus the cold really slows me down in my old age. But I've got a laptop in the closet that is the touchscreen, and I used it before to monitor this chat nice and big. I can control the chat and all that, but yeah, I'm fairly lazy and retarded these days. So solar panel on capsules, 2 votes, say yes. We got 17 viewing. I think maybe a few more would want to add in, but okay. We'll end that poll at 2 votes. Or 3 votes. Okay, so everyone wants that. Okay, so we'll see how this works out. This will be actually somewhat similar to what you would probably see with the Gemini capsule, as they called it. Gemini, but they called it Gemini. Where you had an elongated nose, and that held a lot of the fuel and thrusters and so forth. So let's see here. We need our thrusters. There we go. Okay. So, we'll put that there. We're going to close these mothers. Retract it. There you go. All right. So, the nose will be essentially what's going to be defining our movement. So we're going to add 4 onto there. And that should be sufficient to allow us to maneuver even just, with this capsule alone. So if something happens where we're not able to get ourselves into a descent orbit, this should be sufficient to allow us to accomplish that. All right, so I'm going to save that. Now it's time to get some decouplers here. Force ejection 150. And there's different from separators. So I think this is the one we want, yeah. Alright, there we go. Oh, now the fucking stupid the stupid poll is finally showing up on my phone, which is hilarious because the stream, whenever I listen to a stream, always is, for some reason, I'm on Wi-Fi with my phone, is always streaming the stream much more ahead than my computer. So if I'm listening to a stream and I gotta go take a poop, and I go to the washroom with my phone, and I'm listening to that, I'm listening to the actual current stuff, and I get back to my room and I tune into the stream again, and it's actually behind where I was listening to. So very weird stuff, but regardless, let's continue. All right, so we want to get into orbit. We're going to need some fuel tanks here. Won't be too much necessary. This won't be too heavy, and yeah, we should be able to accomplish this fairly easily. I don't think we're going to need more RCS because it's really just to get this into orbit, and then this thing is going to allow us to operate. So, still too big, Dave. That's what she said. No, it's not going to get us into full orbit. I want a smaller tank. Yeah, this is our oomph. We want an engine to... this is going to be in the upper stages of the atmosphere. So, you can see here, thrust, you got two different types, ASL and vacuum, or VAC, which is standing for vacuum. So, obviously, this particular engine has much more thrust in a vacuum as opposed to when it's fighting with the atmosphere. So these are the things you need to look into if you like this game, if you're playing it. Afternoon, Ghost of Tommy's Barber. These are the things you need to look into when it comes to making your rocket most efficient. And this is what I was referring to with Inspector Todd previous, is that it just takes just a little bit of time to read through the descriptions and understand how the science works. And once you have the basics, really, understanding ISP and understanding, that the orbits and sort of how to manage your movement in orbit, your orientation and so forth, it just flows naturally. It's like a pilot. So we're going to trust in this small little, it's not that small, but we're going to trust in this fuel tank here. We're going to be looking for, so look at this. In a vacuum, this is 2,000 kilonewtons of force. In the atmosphere, it's 1,205. So but the problem is this one consumes fuel like nobody's business, and it's actually it's much larger than obviously this fuel tank here. So we're going to be looking for something that will at least allow us... See, this is not that good. It's a little bit less than 100 more kilonewtons when in a vacuum space. it will fit on here. You know, typical looking Apollo capsule. But where was this? Okay, that's not that good. Skipper's a little. Actually, the skipper is the same size, but what was it? It was 650. That was the one I chose. Okay. Oh, it's this one. 1500. Yeah. So this one. This one's huge. And it only gets 200 more, well, less than 200 more kilonewtons of force, but it is basically made to fly in, you know, a vacuum. So we're gonna go with that one. We're gonna go with that one. Okay, so now we need a coupler for this, and let's see here. All right, put that here. I'm going to need an atmospheric rocket engine. The most efficient one I can get. Yeah. Because this isn't enough to get us into orbit. We need another stage. So, this is going to be a challenge. But, that's why we're here. A little fun. Come on, Dave. Okay, fourth time's... No, not even. Okay, well, where's the fucking size that fits that? No. Okay. And, okay, so I guess we're gonna have to go with another one of those large tanks here. Now for the engine manifold, we're going to let's see how we're gonna do this. Ah, damn it! All right, well, I guess we're gonna have to go bigger. Alright, here we go. So we need structural. There's a cone that I'm looking for right now. Actually, no, that's under fuel tanks, I believe. So, I'll save that again. Now we need some big boys. There we go. So, now we get to some big boy engines. Ground, so we're going to move it up. Now, because of the length of this, what I do want to add is a little bit of aerodynamic stability. So, we have gimbaling engines down here. Gimbaling means that they move. I think we're going to go with, actually no, see the problem is that's going to create a lot of drag. Great stability, but it's going to cause a lot of drag and a lot of weight that's probably going to prevent us from reaching optimal. See, and this is all guesswork now. There's no way to really you know, it's all, you're testing it, really. You've got to test it every time. There's no way really to know unless you're an absolute fucking expert. And there's a guy out there called Scott Manley, who's an actual fucking I don't know exactly what he does, but he knows his space, his astrophysics and his spacecraft engineering and stuff. This guy can do it with his eyes closed, but I can't. So we've got to figure this out. There's a lot, like the center of mass is quite high. We need stability here. And I'm going a little overboard too. Because again, I don't know what I'm going to need to do to get this into orbit, and if it's going to work. So I'm going to need some sort of aerodynamic surface that's going to at least keep some stability to this craft. Let's see, what can we use? This one's a little bit smaller, yeah. Okay, so we're going to use that. Hopefully that will work. Because again, we want stability. That's the purpose of these tail fins and such. And you can see them actually used quite a lot in the Saturn 1B, I believe. Much smaller than the Saturn 5. And that was used to ferry people into orbit and also to get people to, what was it, Skylab when that went up. But we don't really need to add anything else, any other surfaces, you know, because you can add these other surfaces. Where are they? These control surfaces, basically like a flap, like a wing flap, and that's a moving part, and the engines move. That's the gimbling. So we don't necessarily need to do that. I think we're good. I think we're good for now. It should be a challenge, but hey, Todd volunteered for this. So now we're going to attach our structural launching pad. All right. So here's the big thing. Now we got to organize everything. So what we want is the engines to go off first. So those get moved down here. They move, they start to fire, and then as soon as they're powered up, the launch tower releases. From this point, the rocket will continue to fire until it, you know, uses up all its fuel. And then this engine in here, as you can see on the right, this engine here that highlights, that's the one that's going to go off. So right after this, we need that to separate. Exactly. So once that separates, the first stage, second stage will fire. Will activate and then fire. That will go on until it expends all its fuel in this tank here. And then, in the end, hold on, what the? Oh, that's the entire tank. Okay, I thought this was a separate stage. Okay, so, in the end, this second stage will separate. It's kind of big, but whatever. I'm going to try it out. We'll separate, which will give us a final engine to fire. This one here, which is hopefully going to be in enough of a vacuum that it will be extremely efficient and allow us to conduct multiple exercises in orbit. At that point, once that expends, there's going to be this separation. So we're going to need to use the fuel in this to ensure that by the time that we're ready to separate this final stage, that we're ready to be able to start to descend back to Earth, or to Kerbal. But we do have enough, not only for experimental purposes, but also for emergencies, that within this stage here, the final stage, the capsule, we do have both substantial amount of battery power. We have additional electric recharge services through the solar panels, and we have a substantially large amount of RCS fuel both in this unit up here as well as within the capsule to allow us, even either for emergencies or testing purposes, to conduct several exercises in orbit, and should be sufficient to put us, make us descend and cause a re-entry into Earth. So it's not just for experimental purposes, but it's also multiple contingency plans put together. Hopefully, you know, to protect against any follies that might befall us. And then finally, once this separates, the final thing that will go off will be these. But they've been both placed in the same group. We first want the drogue chute to go off, because that's the one that's going to slow us down while we go through the atmosphere. And then finally, once we're in a much thicker part of the atmosphere where we're ready to land at least 1 kilometer up and our speed's been diminished enough, that is when we initiate the final 3 parachutes that will allow us to safely land on the planet. So before we continue, I see Riley Brock in the chat says, "Hey Dave, come outside real quick. Can I knock on the door, or will you be mad if I do?" Go right ahead if you want to knock on my door. My doorbell doesn't work, so you're going to have to knock hard. So, yeah. I mean, my cameras haven't picked you up, so, I mean, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. Unless I'm looking out the window, but, hey. Alright, so, we're going to save that here. Beautiful looking rocket. Very phallic. Very NASA-like. And, well, we've got our crew ready to go. So, Todd, hopefully you're paying attention here. All right, so here we go. Inspector Todd Kerman and Tony Phony Baloney Kerman are on the launch pad of Kerbal Space Center. Now, let's get ready to rock and roll. Hold on. Oh, man, I need to massage my back. Oh, that felt good. Little chiropractic readjustment. So, hold on. Inspector Todd, hold on. I gotta catch up. So, Festlove says, crossing fingers. Tony is crossing his legs. Inspector Todd says, Tony thinks we are already in space. Well, yeah, because he's just too stoned. But that's why he's the tourist, as you can see here. And you're the pilot. So it looks like a beautiful day to go out into orbit. So, we're going to, well, if you want, say a prayer. You don't know what would happen, or what will happen, neither do I. But I'm gonna try to make sure that we accomplish our goals. I can't account for what will happen with the craft. I try to make it as effective as possible. But yeah, here we go. All right, control tower, Capcom, increasing thrust to 3/4. Initiate engines. Tower release. SAS engaged. And we have a very heavy motherfucker trying to get into orbit. let's check out our little range here. Okay, so we're going to see our apoapsis increase. Yeah, this is a heavy motherfucker, and we are going through the thickest part of the atmosphere right now, so this is obviously going to cause us some issues, but hey, we got some good fuel. We've over-engineered this thing, in my opinion, but we're going to see what happens when we reach greater altitudes. Look at this, already we're experiencing a wobble, and rumor has it, that this is what the Saturn V encountered when it was launched several times. Whether it be because of the gimbal of the engine, or because of its the weight distribution, but it is something that has been spoken about for quite some time. So, halfway through our fuel, we are now looking at an apoapsis of 16 kilometers. Try to move. Okay, we want to be as stable as possible here. This rocket is a little unwieldy. We want to try to get this to 100. Eventually get our bearing to 90 degrees. Our rocket, this is calculating quite well, actually. Our fuel, our stage here, our first stage, is going to be running out of fuel soon. And this is good because we don't want these things, these items in orbit. Too high either, because then it might stay in orbit. At 100 kilometers, this will stay in orbit. Perfect. Now, back to the craft. We're going to eject first stage. Try to move away a bit. Now, we've overcalculated. This is a beast of a machine because we have certainly enough fuel to get into orbit with this second stage alone, and we'll have so much more. I mean, technically this craft could probably go around the moon, or the mun as they call it here, but what we're going to do is we're going to prepare for creating a circular orbit. Let me check back with the chat. We got Inspector Todd says, put the damn joint out, Tony. We're about to launch. I got Jared Ford III in the chat. All right, so here we go. Now, there's other ways of doing this. I like the manual way personally because it's a little more white knuckle tight. But I can show you guys later. I've showed you in the past how to basically make the system prepare and give you the numbers necessary as to when you fire your rocket and so forth. And you know, but this is much more challenging, I'd say. So we're doing this on the fly and just basically with our knowledge. So here now we're just about at apoapsis. Now we hit it hard, full thrust. This is now going to create a circular orbit, a stable orbit around the planet, because we're right now at the top point of that apoapsis. So that's why this is showing our direction, the little V thing, and then the yellow crosshairs. So what we're trying to do is raise the apoapsis as much as possible. And when we focus on this little, there we go, see? Okay, so we're going to continue. Okay, so we now have an apoapsis, the highest orbital position at 164 kilometers, and then the lowest at about 83, which is still stable, but 100 is usually what's recommended. Regardless, we are now in orbit. So if we look at this, we have half a fuel tank left of this, and we have this this stage here, this final stage. So first what we're going to do is just to ensure, because we always like to stay on top of this. This is the most important thing to do. Okay, so we got our monopropellant, electric charge, oxidizer, liquid fuel, and ablator plate. The ablator plate is basically what's underneath the capsule here to prevent it from burning up in the atmosphere. But what we're going to do is we are going to, if I can just get this working here, we're going to extend these solar panels. We're actually going to activate our RCS and rotate our craft. And this will essentially allow for both solar panels to orient themselves towards the star of the system. So basically we've got more than enough charge that we need, electric charge. We can do just about anything we want. So what I ask now is, what do we do? What do we do? I've over-engineered this. We have half a tank of this large engine and this entire tank of this engine. We're already in a vacuum of space. Do we try to hit the moon? Do we just fuck around with the orbital dynamics here? Do we try to land them back at the space center? With this amount of fuel, you can regulate your reentry substantially, but I've always found it very challenging to orient yourself to land, especially with a capsule, to land back at the launch center. With a space plane and stuff or shuttle, it's a lot easier, but yeah, it's not easy. There's also see this purple plane here. Now the purple plane is actually called Minmus. So if we turn around, okay, so there's the Mun. See the Mun. And there's Minmus. Minmus has practically no gravity whatsoever. And you can literally run off the surface and use your jets, your RCS jets on your spacesuit, and get into orbit. So it's a very freaky, cool planet, and it takes a little bit of a different dynamic because you got to change your because the moon is on the equator, on the same equator as Earth, so it's very easy, and that's where this launch center is as well. So it's so easy to get to the moon. But to get to Minmus, you actually have to adjust your angle, and that can be a little bit of a challenge, especially when you're learning orbital dynamics. So, for example, if you're on this side of Kerbal, you want to go down because that will raise this portion of the orbital, and when it raises, you match it up with the same angle as the planet that you want to try to intersect. And it's a challenge, and that's why you got to always plan to have extra fuel for contingencies, because if not, you've got a capsule lost out in space, and these people can't do anything about it. And obviously it's a video game and all, but to me, it's like, imagine if you were in charge of mission control, and you had to do a mission planning and stuff. You're in charge of all these different things, and you've got to keep certain things in mind and stuff. So yeah, to me, it's I think it's cool. But then again, I am a nerd, so. Now, you know what? I think we're going to try to, since nobody seems to be responding to my requests there in the chat, I guess we're going to try to reach the moon, or at least try to circle the moon. I don't know. I mean, like, what else can we do? I mean, we got a lot of fuel. Let's see. So this stage, this particular stage, has about 1155 liquid fuel and 1411 oxidizer. Okay, so Inspector Todd says, yes, why not? Let's try the moon. All right, so let's try the moon. All right, so first we're going to go prograde. We're going to utilize our RCS thrusters to try to get us there in a quicker time frame. Now the moon's right there. So we got to wait for another orbit for us to get into the position, because we need to watch it. The quickest way, manual, is to wait for it to pop over the horizon, and we just fire away in prograde. Gotta keep our eye on this. Almost there. So again, we're going to try to go to prograde. Keeping our electric charge nice and high. It's going to be a little bit since we meet it, but there we go. See, we've seen the moon now rise. Perfect. Hit the rocket. There we go. So, what do we got here? An approach at 1,000,006. Whoop. Nope. That was too much. Hold on. We're going to have to go retrograde. An encounter at 268. 337. Okay. We'll see how this works. Inspector Todd says, Tony is being annoying and is demanding we go to the moon. Tony just spilt bong water on some electronics, Dave. Oh, no. You don't know what's going to happen there, so that's good. If we miss the moon, we'll still be in orbit of Earth, and we might be able to return. because this is going to be a challenge. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try, Todd, just for you. I'm going to try. Donations are open if you want to see somebody live or die. Got to whore myself out, I'm not as qualified as Joey Begbeg, but hey, gotta do my best. Now, when we get to about, what is this? What's our interception here? Damn it. Okay, so periapsis 337 kilometers. That's quite large. We're going to have to need to utilize a lot of, if we're going to want to orbit the moon, or at least try to get around it. Well, we're still going to do that, but I'd like to get a little closer. I mean, oof. I don't know if that fuel is scaring me there. I don't have much fuel to do much of a direction, and then we'll have the final stage, which at this point, if we get to here, yeah, it should work. We should be able to pull down the periapsis. So remember, you get to here, you go in reverse. You go in the opposite direction of your orbit, and then you fire the rockets. This will reduce the periapsis. It doesn't matter if you're here or here. You do the same thing. You go yourself in the opposite direction of your orbit, and you fire your rockets. It'll reduce the opposite side. So if I get to here, even with just the final stage, I can reduce it sufficiently where it will come into to Earth's atmosphere. Now, how steep of an angle, what they call a angle of attack, I don't know. And the steeper it is it the steeper? Well, the closer it is to the surface, I should say, it will cause even more heat and potentially burn up in the atmosphere. So that should be interesting. All right, let's fast forward to see where we end up. Whee! Going through space. There comes the moon approaching us. We're getting into its orbit very soon. There it comes. There comes the moon. So our orbit here within 3 minutes is actually going to encounter the actual influence of the moon. So let's forward a little more. 1.5 times speed, Wesley. All right, so you're going to see this change color. All right, so now the moon is pulling us towards it. Now we've encountered its gravitational pull, and we're going to be passing as close as 337 kilometers from it. Then it's going to throw us back out, and we're going to go, around Kerbin in this orbit. Now, I would say, let's see if we can maintain an orbit around the moon. If we need to send a team to save these people, well, we could do that. But yeah, I don't want to risk them being thrown out into space, because this orbit here might end up throwing them out, and it'll be very difficult to get them back around Kerbin here. So we got to wait till we get to here. And this is what I was talking about before. So we got some time, actually. We got 1 hour, 45 minutes according to the game, which is a lot sooner than that, but it's still a substantial amount of time. Shout out to Latino Heat in the chat. Says, too bad you can't nuke China and Iran in this game. Well, actually, you can get mods to make it a real world game, and you can create nukes. There's new plugins. So yeah, you can do that. In fact, I'll take this moment to tell you that I actually downloaded some plugins that allow you to utilize anti-gravity. And they're kind of wonky though, but it's really cool because you can accelerate to the point where you're just shooting out of the entire solar system. So I think after this, we're going to play around with that. See if we can make some sort of UFO or some sort of craft that allows us to use these engines that will just fucking thrill you. But okay. So we see periapsis here. Now, if we click on that, we have add maneuver. So what happens here? So we've got prograde, retrograde, normal, anti-normal, and I can't remember these two here. So basically what we can do from here is we can say, okay, well, once we get to, hold on. Well, actually, I did add that. I clicked here to add a maneuver. So if I say do that, right? That's basically going to, it's telling us we're going to need 165.6 meters per second delta V, which has to, once we get into that position, we have to fire our rockets in the reverse position, so the reverse of the orbit, reduce it down to here, at which point we will attain that orbit. And yeah, I mean, we could adjust it if we want. We can make it bigger. We can make it smaller. You can see that the more that you adjust it, the more delta V you're going to need. And we can also just say cancel. So we still have some time there. Let me check the chat again. Spectre Todd says, build the sport model. Yeah, I've been trying. I tried a few things, actually, to try to create a craft that would be easy to use. And it's these engines are challenging. So let's see here. It's just telling me supposedly that I'm going to, if I launch out to here, if I let it go, I'm just going to fall back into this orbit. Again, my concern is the amount of fuel that's left over. I think... Hold on. So Latino says, Inspector Todd, ever play Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries? Yeah, that's a good one. I think what I'm going to do is... This is a challenge. I think I'll just let this play out. I'm just going to fast forward it to see where we end up. We're going to swing by the moon. There we go. So we swing by the moon. And we're going to get to our apoapsis here, which will allow us to reduce our orbit to land back on planet Kerbal. I'm going to switch the position to retrograde. All right, so let's get us into retrograde position. Alright. So now, see how we're reducing the periapsis. It's at 800 kilometers, 500. 2. Now we're in the atmosphere. Whoops. Well, actually, that should be interesting. And we still have a little bit left of that fuel. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to use the rest of it. Okay, so this will definitively, this stage here will definitively fall into the atmosphere. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to get more into a prograde orbit. We want to try to increase our angle of attack here so that we don't fall so steeply. The good thing is that the stage that we ejected will be burning up very quickly in the atmosphere. All right, so our periapsis is 79 kilometers. What we want is less. We want that to intercept the atmosphere and essentially allow us to utilize that. There we go. I guess 3 kilometers is fine, but it's going to hit the atmosphere sufficiently enough where it's going to allow us to slow down. But we've got a full fucking stage of fuel here. See, so I've over-engineered this. Let me just check the chat here. Apparently, the rocket makes the noise that Bird's phone makes when he calls in. But you can still understand me, unlike Bird. So, I've got a lot of fuel here. I could do anything. I could probably create a stable orbit. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So, how much monopropellant do we got? We got sufficient. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to, instead of doing just a, ejection here, we're going to actually try to give these guys a little bit of, okay, so 257 kilometers. I don't like that too much. See, our orbit's changed. See our angle? Our angle's changed. So what's our periapsis now? 183. Okay, so 140. There we go. 160. That's good enough for me. So what we want to do also is we want to stabilize this. We want a nice equatorial orbit. So we're going for normal. Normal is supposed to be upwards, if I'm remembering correctly. So if we're looking at it on this angle, we should see a change where it stabilizes. Nope, wrong way. So anti-normal is what we want. That doesn't make sense. Come on. Anti-normal. There we go. All right, so now we're back on the equatorial plane. Perfect, actually. Look at that. Moon, our orbit. Perfect. Maybe a slight deviation, but come on. Come on, Cam. All right, so we will be passing in within about 98 kilometers of the surface, which should be sufficient for not encountering a substantial amount of the atmosphere. But, hey, we're going to see. We still have most of this, fuel here. So we can actually go to prograde. And then just fire it off a bit. Give us a orbit of 230 kilometers. Now we're going to fast forward. Come on, Ken. All right, so we're just about at periapsis. And this is here. We're gonna add a maneuver. We'll show you this. So, add a maneuver. There we go. We're gonna go prograde. I'm gonna check that distance. 630, 371, 230, 283, 220. That's perfect. That's fine. So, we're going to have a target up here. See how it's pointing up there? We're going to have a target. We're going to actually fast forward a bit. We don't want to waste any fuel. Okay, so we're getting close to this orbital maneuver here. Now we're going to use our RCS to move ourselves to target. To the maneuver. There we go. So the blue's telling us in which direction we're going to have to be pointing. So switch off the RCS, monopropellant. We're almost at the time. See, it's counting down for us. Now, usually, it's good to do this about 10 seconds prior. Sometimes a little more. But it's basically counting down, and it's telling us we're only going to need about 8 seconds. So as long as we maintain our direction to the target, we're going to be able to reduce our orbit to the one we've just specified. So, 10 seconds. And here we go. See as it's reducing. I don't put the throttle too high. We'll miss that window. See, we want to get this to 0. If we want to match exactly what it is that we want. So, there we go. We are now in orbit. We've went around the moon. And we've got a little bit of fuel left, which is good. Let's check back with these two jokers. So this is Inspector Todd. He's looking around. There's Tony. He's fucking stoned out of his fucking mind. He's spilled the bong water. It's fucking unreal. He's like, whoa, dude, like wild stallions. And Todd's like, but you're not part of the wild stallions. You're Tony. It's like, but no, dude, I'm like Ted Theodore Logan, like wild stallions. Whoa, dude, like, whoa. So, obviously, he's having some issues. And there's Tony. Whoa, dude, like, whoa, space, whoa. Like, what's that shiny thing there, dude? And what are those all those other shiny things? Like, whoa, look at that shiny thing. Whoa, look at the lights. Oh, who are you again? Oh, you're Todd, yeah. Whoa, wild stallions. Whoa, look at space, dude. It's like we're the aliens, man. Like we're the aliens, man. Wow. Whoa, what's that shiny thing? Oh, I saw you. Yeah. Whoa, dude. So they're having fun there in the capsule. Still have a nice full charge of 11:55 or 11:50. So we have enough fuel to remove ourselves from orbit, which is good, and we still have enough fuel, I guess, to maneuver and such. But here, we'll do this. We will send Tony out. He's going to go on an EVA. So he's just ejected the. There we go. So. It's gonna let go, like, whoa, dude, like. Whoa, dude. Oh no, dude, no. Whoa, like I'm so stoned. No. Dude, I gotta make it back. Oh no, dude, what have I done? I gotta get back in, dude. Like, whoa, I almost fucked up that solar panel, dude. Whoa. I'm so scared, dude. It's like that time that I went through the windshield. No, dude, no. I don't know, Todd. I don't know if I can get this guy back in there. I can't remember how to turn on the fucking lights. There's a way to turn on the helmet lights, and I just can't remember what fucking key it is. This is treacherous. Doesn't help that I can't see too well because we're on the fucking shadow. Whoa, like, dude, like, this is awesome and stuff. Hold on. I gotta find out what the fucking... Actually, I don't even know if I can find it from here. I wish I could remember what the key was. Let me see the door. Fuck! Okay, so there's the door. He's crashing in a little bit. There we go. We got it. Oh, dude, like... Oh, my God, dude, like... Oh, no, dude. Oh, my God, dude, like... Whoa, dude, like... Oh, whoa. I made it, dude, like... Whoa. I'm, like, so stoned, dude, like... Oh, my God, dude. Whoa. Well, Tony, you were dumb enough to step out, not know how to use your lights. So it's clear that you're only a spaceman when it comes to smoking the weeds. So let's see, can we get us back to where we launched from? There is Kerbal Space Center, but it's in the dark, and that's Not going to help us at all. So let's wait until we get into the light. So we're I think one more orbit, and we should have Kerbal Space Center in clear view. We certainly do not want to try to land in the dark. It is a challenge, to say the least. I've done that both on the Earth and the Moon. Looks like we'll need another orbit. Now, this has always been a challenge for me. So, what we need to do now... Oops, hold on. Slow down. Slow down. So, we want to add a maneuver here. We want to reduce the orbit. Periapsis is at 114. No, we need to catch the atmosphere. 55. Will that work? I have to go a little bit lower. Okay, so we should catch the atmosphere sufficiently, which will allow us to, well, yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of fuel. But, yeah, this should allow us to get close to here, which is what we want. Ideally, it'd be to land there, but here we go. So, we're going to fast forward until our node here tells us that we've got to do this. Oh, did I miss the orbit? Yes, I did. All right, so target. And fire. Oops, not a little too much. A little too much. We wanna have it close to here. There we go. So a little more. Okay, so that should be sufficient for us to reduce our speed enough through the atmosphere to get around here. I think I might actually do a little bit more. Yeah, because the atmosphere starts around 50 to 60 kilometers. And I want enough, sort of runway when it comes to, distance and atmosphere to slow us down sufficiently. But I guess we're going to have to see. So we are now at 37 kilometers of periapsis. So regardless, by that point, when we get that point, if we got there, the atmosphere should already be, dragging us a lot. So there is a thing. What we're going to do is we're going to go into a retrograde position. And we're going to cancel this node. And we're going to eject. That's the lights from the inside. You're supposed to eject. What happened? No, we don't want to jettison the heat shield. Decouple. That's what we wanted. So something happened with our staging here. RCS on. We're going to try to move away from that. And we got still a substantial amount of monitor power, so we can do all sorts of maneuvers in orbit. And yeah, we're going to have to close up those solar panels as soon as we're closer into the atmosphere, I should say. So we're going to fast forward. Oops. Okay, so we're at about 120 kilometers. That's basically, we're getting to the point of the atmosphere starting, about 100 kilometers. So we're going to close up those solar panels. We still have quite a lot of charge. Now we're going to monitor as we fall, because we're going to see this diminish. Still might be, I may have, undershot it, so we might not even land here. We might land somewhere here. But regardless, we're ready to go. Where are we? All right. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Okay, so deactivate RCS. Fast forward a little bit. Check the map. We're still looking at about 25 kilometers, basically right over. Yeah, that probably undershot it. Over the Kerbal Space Program, Space Center. So there's Todd and Tony. Heat shield is ready to go. Okay, so now we should start to see some atmospheric effects. About 50 kilometers into the atmosphere. Now you're starting, or from the surface, now you're starting to see the atmosphere start to get thicker, and now we've got the visual effects. We're going to start to see this actually diminish. Yeah, see, it's going 21, 20, so this is a steep angle. And you can see it diminishing. And we're still about only 44 kilometers up. And the atmosphere is definitely starting to really drag down on the craft. So there's the periapsis just about to disappear. And you're going to see it start to come back this way. Yeah, I suspect that we're not going to land where we want to, but hey, at least we'll probably land. So you can see this impact point continues to decrease as the atmosphere wears down. The descent. Yep, so we're not going to land where we wanted. We might land here, we'll see. But we are now reducing our speed substantially, which is good. We've got Todd looking out the windows, fire everywhere, and Tony's like, I'm cool, dude. I'm cool. It's like, but Tony, the craft's on fire. Can I get a light? Ah, Tony. Where's our... Yep, so we're looking at an ocean impact, people. Speed diminishing to about 1,000 meters per second. And we're about 18 kilometers up. At this point, we do want to deploy the drogue chute, which will help slow us down. Now, we're going to notice as well is that this is now really going to quickly diminish our speed. And you can see that it's definitely helping here. Apoapsis about 15 kilometers. This will deploy in a short moment, fully. And we're still about 10 kilometers up. We want at most to wait till 1 kilometer to deploy the regular parachutes. However, we can deploy them at a higher altitude. So I'm hoping this thing will finally decide to open up here. We've deployed the other chutes, but there we go. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, we don't want to hit the ground faster than 3 meters per second or we're dead. So we're about 770 meters up. Everything's looking good. You can see our shadow. We got all chutes deployed, and we can even activate our RCS and reduce our speed even more. Hold on. So it looks like they're just about to land. Safely back to Kerbal. Lucky guys. Lucky guys. It was well, what can I say? I'm a very good rocket engineer, and I over-engineered it. So there could have been a lot of stuff we could have done. And it is 6:04 right now, and I do remind you that in about 25 minutes I will be doing a stream with YR to talk about Tiger King 2. So we're just gonna play a little bit more, maybe another 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna go get prepared for this show. So we're just about to land in the water here at about 100 meters. The first successful orbit with both Todd and Tony, despite Tony spilling the bong water over all the electronic equipment. So, about 10 meters and touchdown. And there we go. So they both safely return back to Kerbin. So we're going to go to the Space Center. I'm going to fuck around a little bit with the UFOs. Not too much, again, like I said, about another 10 minutes or so. But hey, once I figure out how to make this thing fucking work, we can have a gay old time, as the Flintstones said. So, UFO. Come on, no. What the hell are you doing now? What the hell are you doing? No? I don't think so. Game wants to fuck around. Come on. Wants to fuck around. Okay. So what we need to do is find a capsule to fly this thing. So I think what we will do is we're going to take this one. I'm going to call this UFO 01. And now what we need is surfaces. Well, we're going to need several different things. We're going to need, let's see. Well, definitely structural. Let's see here. What are we going to do? I guess we'll do that. There we go. Nice little surface area. We need a battery. The engines. Alright, so actually fuel tanks, I think there's one of them here that needs to be used. Could be here. Alright, so you got several different types of engines. You got the 00 RGN drive. You got this one, the GN drive, the GN drive Taos, condenser frame, condenser drive. Whoa, 20,000. These are weird, very weird things to handle. But all right, so we're going to let's do that. All right. Save this as well. These are this big. This is really big. And these are also quite big. But I say we try it out with this to see what we get. Actually, maybe what we'll do, because these things are supposed to provide these GN particles and stuff. That's what you need to power these things. Maybe what I'll do is provide this. So now just go here. On top and below. And I'm not going to make any landing legs. Let's just see how this works. So who's going to be our pilot? Oh, we got to go to astronaut. Ronley. Yeah, we'll just pick this guy. All right. Let's save and launch. This vehicle has no remote controlled or manned command modules. What the fuck are you talking about? This guy's... Oh, because he's not in there. There you go. What are you fucking talking about, stupid? Stupid. Alright, we're going to try our first UFO here. See how this works. How did this work again? So we got to activate. Basically, there is a way in this game that you can just activate everything by just connecting it to one fucking button, and I was stupid and I didn't do that, so yeah, we're gonna relish in that. Great. I'll do this better next time. This is, after all, our first foray into the unknown. Okay, so all these have to be active. Okay, those are active. These things apparently have to be activated as well. Activate. 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 Okay, so let's see what happens. Nope. Activate hover. I can't remember how to fucking use this. Oh my god. I gotta figure. God damn it. I don't know why. Alright, well, that's how it works, I guess, when it comes to UFOs. You never know. But I've had some fun with you guys today. But yeah, I want to prepare for the show that's coming up. Review of Tiger King 2, the entire season. And you can find that on YR's stream if you want to check it out. But yeah, I had fun today playing around. Haven't played this game in a long time, but yeah, it's always fun for me. And hopefully you guys had a little bit of fun too. But yeah, hopefully to play some more, be a little more organized, and have some community Kerbal fun. I am Devious Dave Rose. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.